In today's episode of Getting Geeky with Gamerlife, I sit down with Nicholas to talk all about his new game, Evil Upheaval. That's all on Kickstarter for a short time. Don't miss the evilness of this one. This episode of Getting Geeky with Gamerlife is proudly being powered by Torres Games, who are bringing Serpent Master back to Kickstarter the first of next month. Serpent Master is a card-driven abstract board game for 1 to 4 players where a player must keep their serpent on top to win. Plus, they're doing a giveaway with us, or a few of them in fact, over there at thegiveawaygeek.com. Enter today and back their Kickstarter on the 1st of August.
Getting Geeky with Gamer Leaf, the podcast in which one man strives to level up his geekhood and helping you do the same, one battle at a time. Now, let's get geeky with Gamer Leaf.
Dear aspiring villain, we have received your application for admission to the League of Evil. While many of our colleagues support murdering you in your sleep to pay for your arrogance, League policy dictates that you be given a chance to impress us and redeem yourself. Also, tonight is taco night. What you do next is up to you, but for your sake, we suggest it involves a healthy amount of scheming with your fellow villains, stay on the move, get your name in the papers, put the authorities on high alert, and do your laundry. Or perhaps you have a secret weapon you would prefer to demonstrate. We hear that annoying Captain Mallet just graduated from his therapy class, so by all means, point it his way and fire. Just be sure it, works. Remember, there's no penalty for failing to impress us, but the penalty for wasting our time is death.
Did that sound familiar to you guys? It didn't to me either, but this is a story of Evil Upheaval, and today we're lucky enough to have on the creator and mastermind behind this game. Is that right, Nicholas? Is that how you fall in line with Evil Upheaval?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us on Getting Geeky with Gamerleaf. We really appreciate it.
And thank you for having me.
No problem. Now, before we jump into your game, let's rewind a little bit if we could. How did you get into playing tabletop board games, Nicholas?
Well, I've always loved games in all senses of the word, video games and board games. And I've kind of switched between the roles of being heavy into video games and heavy into board games. Back in the day, I actually decided to go to college to create video games, and I got a bachelor's degree in that. But then after I've gotten older, I've found more enjoyment out of board games, actually sitting down, playing with people face to face, and really getting a tactile feel for a game. So that's kind of what sparked my interest in board games.
Okay, pretty cool, awesome. And might somebody know any of your games that you have created when you were creating video games?
So video games, I never actually went through and created anything. It was back in 2005 when the video game industry was extremely difficult to get into, and pretty much everything was just falling apart, and it was hard to get a job anywhere. I got a job working at a store. I don't know if you've heard of it, Fry's Electronics. Staying with the computer world, up to date with everything in computer related, has helped with what I do now for a living.
Okay. Well, that's good that you were able to stay up to date with it or whatnot. But you transitioned to board games. Was there a certain board game that your gateway game, I guess, if you will?
Well, I found Settlers of Catan to be very fascinating, to where it was, in the way I see it, it's kind of like the old school Monopoly, that everybody knew how to play it, family, friends, the extreme gamer versus, the kid in the family. Everyone could play Monopoly. And I feel like Settlers of Catan was that gateway board game for everyone in our generation now.
Okay, so that got you in. And what are you playing these days?
Nowadays, I've got a lot of favorites. There's a game that I like, the obscure ones that nobody's really ever heard of. One of my personal favorites is Burgle Bros. and it's a 4-player co-op game, which is fascinating, where you play these burglars trying to storm a tower and steal things and then get out. But not many people have heard of it.
Yeah, it's actually on our shelf of opportunity. We haven't been able to get it to the table, but we do have it on our shelf. It kind of reminds me, the theme at least, reminds me of a TV show I like called Leverage. I don't know if you've seen that. Cool. Yeah, so that's a pretty fun game, and I think they have an app for that as well.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I think they do. I haven't figured that out either, but yeah, I know they have an app for it, at least on Apple products. So that's pretty cool. But speaking of another game that maybe is a little bit obscure, at least at this point, is word on the street is you have a new game on Kickstarter called Evil Upheaval. What can you tell us about that, Nicholas?
Well, it's been a personal project of passion for me for, I want to say, 3 years now. I started kind of dabbling into creating my own game and taking some of the aspects of the game that I like and the aspects of the game that I hate and getting rid of the things I don't like. And this game, the first concept was Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog and how campy and silly it was and how awesome it was to just see the role of a villain who's not really that bad of a guy, but I wanted to make that and that same feeling in a board game, where you're working with other people at the table and you're all evil in a sense, but you're screwing each other over. But I wanted to get away from that Munchkin feel. I don't know if you've played Munchkin, but the problem with Munchkin that I have is that when you're playing cards against people, it's very, very hurtful. You can feel like you're getting ganged up on. You're going to feel like you're being targeted, and there's no way to win. So that was the hardest hurdle for my game.
Okay, does it still have a take that element, or there's none of that in your game?
There is, but I've avoided, and everyone that's played it kind of feels the same way, where I've avoided the take that. It's hard to explain. So most of the time when you're doing something to someone, it's who you're choosing to help, and instead of just who do I get to hurt. There are things that can hurt people, but it's very situational and very specific to the timing of when you play it, not just this card makes you lose.
Okay, so maybe we should jump in to see how exactly we play. Like, per se, me and you sat down to play Evil Upheaval. What's my turn going to look like, Nicholas?
So your basic turn, and that's one other thing that I wanted to make sure is the game is very simple and easy to go through. The less rules, the better, from my experience in games. And there are 3 phases to the game. The first phase is you have to move because thematically you're an evil villain and you're trying to get the attention of the League of Evil, but you're also getting the attention of the authorities. So you're blogging about where you're at and what you're doing. So you have to move. So it's a mandatory thing that everybody takes in turn order. So you just move to a new location. So that's the first step. After that, the second step is you all take turns doing actions one at a time. And there's a variety of different actions you can do, like playing a card or trading a resource that you have for something from where you're at. Or you can simply commit to your location saying, I don't want to do any more turns. So a variety of things you can do. You can even build your weapon, collect parts, things that you can do. So everybody takes one turn at a time until everyone eventually commits to a location, and then you move to the last phase, which you kind of just resolve what happened in that day. You see if you have enough power to complete a scheme with all the villains that are working together in a location. You determine if someone is in the location where Captain Mallet is, and he'll beat them up. You also stand everybody back up and refresh the board and then start all over again. So it's those 3 steps of moving, doing actions, and then refilling the board and starting over.
And how do I know if I win? If I'm the most evil, or have victory points, or how does that work?
So the other interesting and fun thing about the game is there are 2 different ways to play. And every time you play, you can have a different strategy. There's 2 ways to win. You either build up your reputation of being the most evil, and There's a couple ways to gain reputation. One of them is being the last villain standing, as we call it, where if everyone else commits, you're the last one, you've taken the most actions in the round, you gain reputation that way. The other way is by choosing reputation from a reward from the schemes. So when you do a scheme, whoever's the lowest reputation gets to choose their reward first, and you can choose a reward based on what other people might want and steal it from them. So whoever's losing gets that catch-up mechanic of taking what other people might use or might need more, and that's the other way to gain reputation. The other way to win is by building your weapon and completing it. And everybody's weapon is very balanced, where there's 8 pieces to your weapon. There's 5 different types of parts, plus a wild part. And those are balanced across all the 12 characters that we have. And once you build your weapon, you can then go to the location where Captain Mallet is, where previously you would have wanted to avoid, and then use your weapon to fight him and defeat him. Regardless of your reputation, you can win that way.
Okay, so several different ways, so that's pretty cool. Now, this isn't the first time on Kickstarter. It looks like you were back like about a year before or whatnot. What all have you changed on your campaign page and game, if anything, compared to last time?
So last year, it was a dream of mine to release the game on the 10-year anniversary of Dr. Horrible's Sing-Along blog. And I did everything in my power, from sending certified letters to Joss Whedon, Mutant Enemy, their lawyers, everything that I could. And I've received confirmation that they've gotten these letters, but no word other than that. I've sent prototypes to them as well. So I asked a lawyer friend of mine, and the advice that I got was different from what the internet was upset about. We kickstarted it under the name Dr. Horrible's Evil League of Evil, and since then, there's a lot of controversy of whether we were stealing IP or not. So I wanted to do what was right, so we canceled the Kickstarter, and we kept reaching out, got nothing, decided to rebrand, change the name of the game, change any affiliation to Dr. Horrible, and make it more like a parody and just inspired by. So instead of Captain Hammer, it's Captain Mallet, and similar aspects to that.
Okay, was that the only change in there?
And like all projects that you're passionate about, there's always something you feel that you could change or manipulate or make a little better. I did some balancing with the villains. I got a lot of really good feedback from Gen Con last year about wanting more female villains. So we've actually changed out some of our villains and added more females. We've also, one amazing addition was one of the parts we had was just a little plastic sari piece that we've replaced with another cardboard cutout bust of the character to help with turn order, simple things like that. Schemes, I've changed and balanced a little bit to kind of speed the game up. Before it was like an hour to an hour and a half, and now we've gotten it to what we feel is a sweet spot of about 45 minutes to an hour of people that know how to play the game. It's pretty quick.
Okay, that's good that you were able to fix things and make it so there was no stealing of IPs or whatnot. But now, since that time when you launched and whatnot, you have successfully reached that funding goal. Is that right?
Correct.
Awesome. So that's good to hear. Now, when it comes to Evil Upheaval, what makes your game pop is when the audience should go check out the Kickstarter page, and if they like what they see, back it today so you can continue to reach some of those stretch goals.
Well, one thing that a lot of people just would love to have is their own personal person or persona in a game. And we have options for that, where you can either have your face created from our artist on the side of the box and in every single game, or you can have your own personal villain created just for a personal copy of the game for you. But the game is fun. It's simple. It's very family oriented, or friends, where if you really enjoy that, take that mentality, but you want to make sure that you're not hurting people's feelings, this is a great game for you. I've had kids as young as 8 really get into the game and just really feel like a villain. Just the smile on their face, that evil smirk, it warms my heart. It's amazing.
Okay, well, that's good that it's able to do that. Now, according to, I don't know, the buzz on the internet, but you said you had different contradicting things from your lawyer and what was on the internet. Now, some of the buzz on the internet says you have to have a Kickstarter video and you have to have previews and whatnot, but I don't see I don't necessarily see that on your Kickstarter page. Am I wrong?
You are not wrong. We had a video before, and I was going to be using the video for how to play that I had Blanket Term create for me. I was going to use that as the Kickstarter video, but they never gave me the actual file, and you have to upload the file. You can't just provide a link. So I put a link of a video in the Kickstarter page. So there is a link to their YouTube video there.
So there's how to play, but no previews other than that, or the Kickstarter video in the front.
No,
Oh, okay. Have you gotten any lashback from that, or?
mostly a lack of time. Uh, I haven't gotten any lashback at all from that. Um, it's something I would have loved to do, but lack of time and funding, because everything I've been doing for these last 3 years has all just been out of pocket.
Oh no, completely understandable. So, what have you done in terms of marketing? Because I know a lot of people don't jump on to see games if they don't have that stuff. So, what have you done in the meantime between?
I've done some Facebook ads, and I do a lot of local stuff, uh, either visiting local game stores, um, trying to do Facebook ads mostly. Uh, it's something that I'm still new to, and I definitely should have or could have done a whole lot more, and I haven't.
Well, yeah, but still, it's reached its funding goal, so that's awesome to see. Because a lot of them I see on there that don't have those things, and they end up having to relaunch several times, or you just see them disappear. So that's good that you're able to do that. So yeah, we'll make sure we leave links in the show notes so people can jump on over and back Evil Upheaval so they can be able to play the game. And looks like it'll be delivering around approximately November of next year, depending.
Basically said, promise late and deliver early, as opposed to promise early and deliver late. So I expect much sooner than that, but since this being our first, I want to make sure that we deliver before we expect.
Yeah, it's better to overpromise than underdeliver, so most definitely. Now, mine is coming to your hometown to stalk you. How will people go about keeping up with you and everything you have going on over there at Lucky Troll Games, Nicholas?
The best way is through Facebook, Lucky Troll Games LLC, or you can follow our Facebook page, Evil Upheaval. We also have a website, luckytrollgames.com, that will post things, and after the Kickstarter, we'll have additional copies. So if you've missed it, you could purchase through that as well, and we'll have that set up then.
Awesome. But yeah, if somebody's listening right now, they will probably want to back it so they don't miss out, or maybe they'll get a better price this way.
You need an additional discount, yeah.
Okay, so that's great. Now, speaking of keeping up with you, if somebody's listening later on down the road after the Kickstarter's over and been delivered and all that fun stuff, is there any secrets you can share with us about upcoming projects you might be working on as well?
Sure. There's another board game that I've been dying to start conceptualize, but my wife has been making sure that I stay focused and one thing at a time. But the big concept is playing the role of the NPCs in a D&D world, trying to survive. The NPCs basically being the murder hobos they tend to be. But yeah, switching the role of who you play as a character is something that I'm fascinated with. It's also why I love playing the villain in a board game. It's just not seen often enough.
Yeah, that sounds pretty intriguing. So make sure you go ahead and follow along. Back the Kickstarter Evil Upheaval today before Monday, the 5th of August, so you don't miss out on the fun of that. But yeah, like I said, we don't want to keep you all day, but we really appreciate you coming on, getting geeky with Game Relief with us to talk all about Evil Upheaval. We really appreciate it, Nicholas.
Thank you so much.
No problem. Sounds like my kind of game. I can't wait to be able to get Evil Upheaval to the table. If you feel the same way from listening to this interview or checking out their Kickstarter, make sure you back Evil Upheaval today and make it a reality.
Kickstarter Corner!
In the near future, cloning dinosaurs is cheap, easy, and commonplace. As public demand for even state-of-the-art dinosaur zoos waned, underground fight clubs quickly became popular and began producing huge dividends. Trainers began making highly illegal genetic modifications to their dinosaurs' stock. Numerous high-profile accidents calls for international cooperation in regulating the new industry. With millions of dollars involved, several countries began to legalize prehistoric pit fighting. Specialized training schools appeared, and soon dinosaur fighting was legal worldwide. The Ultimate Dinosaur Fighting League was formed, and in just a few years became the world's largest professional sports organization. The most successful dinosaurs and their trainers are some of the world's richest, most famous, or infamous celebrities in the world. Will you be among them? Did that sound familiar to you? Well, good thing I'm here then. This is a story of Ultimate Dinosaur Fighting. It's a miniature board game for 2 to 6 players with playtime of 30 to 45 minutes, no downtime, and no player elimination. If you dare try Ultimate Dinosaur Fighting, you'll step into a world where you control these ancient beasts, where every stamp of the foot, twitch of the tail, or flap of the wings could be their last. The game is easy to learn, fast-paced, quick to set up, has a high replay value, and is just great fun. You can play one-off scrimmage battles, a series of battles in a tournament setting, or use their campaign rules to run a stable of dinosaurs through an entire league season. You can add in mutations, tech upgrades, and training to ready your prized prehistoric gladiator to take on any beast in the pit. Sound fun? I thought so. So make sure you back their Kickstarter campaign for Ultimate Dinosaur Fighting before Thursday the 15th of August. Tell them Game Relief sent you. You've got dice. You've got plenty of solid colored dice. I knew that. But what you don't have enough of is multicolored dice. How could you? That's what I thought. Well, fret no longer, as Bryce's Dice are now on Kickstarter with Anthology of Dice The Beginning, which is a line of polyhedral dice sets with tricolor and dual color effects for Bryce's Dice. Y'all made tie-dyed shirts as kids? Well, now Bryce's Dice are going to make you the equivalent to bring to game night. If you like the sound of that, make sure you head on over to check out their campaign via the link in our show notes. If they get enough backers through this link, we might even do a giveaway with them over at thegiveawaygeek.com. Once you've backed it, make sure you comment on their Kickstarter page, letting them know that GamerLeaf sent you. Begin your journey as one of the 5 basic classes and battle your way through a branching campaign where you choose your own path in an attempt to overthrow the evil queen, Domine. With each encounter, you will level up and unlock over 15 elite classes, adding new actions, equipment, and abilities. Will your team find the right combination of classes and powers in time to stop Queen Domine? Let the adventure begin. Sound familiar to you? Well, good thing I'm here. This is Adventure Tactics Domine's Tower. It's an encounter-based, campaign-driven, cooperative deck builder. You know, GamerLeaf loves deck builders. That launched to Kickstarter on the 29th of July, as well as blew past their almost $30,000 funding goal on the same day. This isn't your everyday board game that looks like an RPG, as you don't have to stay stuck in the same class over and over again, but you still get the benefits of the previous class. but I'll let the game's designer tell you more about that. Make sure you catch my sit down with Nick the designer. Sure to hit your favorite podcasting app on Thursday the 1st of August. So make sure you subscribe to Getting Geeky with Game Relief where you catch your favorite podcasts. And as this is after the 1st of August, make sure you come back so you don't miss out on the adventure. Back Adventure Tactics today.